In the last video, we determined the mean of a data set, and we figured out how to do this using Excel. We did it the hard way and the easy way. For the median, we're going to do a similar set of steps here. But what I've done in this particular case is I've added another data set just so that we can compare and contrast the difference between a data set with an even number of observations versus a data set with an odd number of observations. Because when you determine what the median is, it does vary depending on whether it's an even or an odd number of observations. So we'll start with the A here, this collection of observations. So we've already sorted this, and we calculated in the last video, we calculated the mean. And the easy way was we could use this function called the average, which is essentially equivalent to saying the mean. And we calculated it to be 5. So that is the average for this data set. For the second data set, I went ahead and actually calculated the average. And you can see here that there's an additional item in this data set that isn't in the first one. And so this makes the data set size to be 11 observations as opposed to 10. And I've indicated this by using that count function again. So now the median is a little different. And the way you want to think about a median is if you have a scale with two sides, you want that scale to be balanced in the center. And so in order to do that, you need a certain number of observations on one side equal to the number of observations on the other. So if we look at the first example for width A, we have a total of 10 observations here. So just off the top of my head, I know that if I put 5 on one side of the scale and 5 on the other side of the scale, then I have something that's balanced because they're equal. So if I look at these numbers, they're ordered. That's step one, is make sure they're in the correct order. And I'll count down 5 observations here. And I just want to change the color so that you can see where we're going with this. So now these are the first 5, and these are this other 5. The middle is somewhere in between here. So it's somewhere in between these two numbers. The median, the calculation for the median is really, it's not really calculating the median, it's calculating the location in your list where the median would fall. So I'll demonstrate by actually doing the calculation, and then we'll walk through what it means. So for the median, the rule is that you take the overall count of the observations. So we know that with A data set, that count is 10. So I'm going to do equals to tell Excel I'm doing a formula. And then I'm going to say it is, I'm going to use parentheses so I can enforce the order of operations. It's 10, whatever that value is there, plus 1 divided by 2. And really what this is telling me is that if I go 5.5 spaces, that's where my median is. So I can go up 5.5 observations. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the half is somewhere here in between the 4 and the 5. So you have to ask yourself, well, how do I figure that out? What is, how do I determine what that median is? Well, it's going to be the average of these two numbers, whatever they are. So the median, this calculation isn't really the median, it's the location of the median. So to actually calculate the median, and I'll just move these down one so that we have a little extra room. So the median value, I'll just call it the median value, if I can spell. So the median value in this case is going to be the average of 4 and 5. So it's going to be equals 4 plus 5 divided by, and there's just two numbers that we're getting the average for. So that becomes 4.5. So that is actually the median. Now, if we look at the second data set, this is an odd number. There's 11 observations here. So if I just, because it's such a small data set, we can kind of visually look at it and say, well, it's 11. If I put 5 on the first part of it, I think I think I lined these up incorrectly. Oh, no, I didn't. I got it right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the first 5 right here. And I'll just make these yellow. And then I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from the bottom. And we'll make these orange. And you can see that in the middle, I have this number just sitting there in the middle. And that is my median. That's my center point. That's sort of the fulcrum of the balance. And so in this case, it is at location 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but the value is 5. So to calculate that, we can do it exactly the same way we did the other one, which is I can say it's the count plus 1, divided by 2. And that should give me the halfway point. And remember though, the 6 is the location. So that means I go to my data set and I count down 6 spots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the value at that 6th spot is the actual median. So the median in this case is 5.